Hi, I'm Megan. Welcome to today's live reading of The Sisterhood of Secrets by Winnifred Tataw, presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Join me. Chapter 1, Tying the Knot. Your hair and headpiece are completed, Princess asked Alistine. I stiffly turned my head toward the servant who addressed me. Thank you, but please, I am not a princess. I am only still a lady. She bowed. My apologies, my lady. Tina, I said, we're alone. You don't have to use the title. Of course I do, she said. It's yours to hold. Don't be embarrassed. It had finally settled in me to have such titles attached to my name, but hearing it from castle staff, something I once was before getting into a relationship with Raiden, was still odd. I knew many of Dyer's chief staff. I knew many of Dyer's chief staff I used to work with felt one of two ways. Either they were happy about our wedding or filled with more envy than a green-eyed viper snake. Nonetheless, I was finally getting officially married to my husband. Though we were granted marital status from Riva over 3 years ago, we were only now having the wedding ceremony. With us raising 5 little children, Riva becoming sick, and Ray taking on more political and democratic tasks and studies, there was no other time that felt right to have this wedding in good faith. Lady Alistine, we shall take our leave now, said the head maid and a friend. The guards will be outside your door if you need anything. I chuckled and held my hand out to Tina. Come and help me look at myself in the full mirror. I did not want to see myself until everything was done. I knew I would have made the jobs harder for the maids attending to me going back and forth to the mirror. Tina took my hand as she said, the rest of you may leave. The other 4 servants bowed and quietly left the boudoir. Tina moved some of my gown's train before returning to raise me. The smell of my perfume lingered through the room, light and flowery. We walked over to the giant gold mirror. I gasped. I was beautiful. My makeup was light, soft pink blush, nude lipstick, and subtle green eyeshadow helped my dismal brown eyes pop. My bobbed brown hair had been swept under my giant gold and blue cocoa-chic crowned headpiece. Sprigs and pearls dangled in my cocoa-chic and onto my face. They left a small sweeping fringe that made my large forehead appear slightly smaller, and my wedding gown was just as beautiful on me as it was for me. It was made of satin and lapis blue silk. The small, high bust pressed my breast firmly to my chest. It was cream and had matching gold floral embroidery on the skirt, cape, sleeves, and train. The dress had billowed under layers, which made me nervous and worried about whether I would sweat through our afternoon ceremony. My cape was a transparent gold fabric that sparkled in the midday sunlight. I do not think I ever looked or felt as gorgeous as I do right now in all of my years of living. Tina squeezed my hand. I cannot believe you are getting married. And to our prince, of all people. Neither can I. It was the truth. And most would agree with me, a young orphan mother and 3 orphan children of her own. I had to drop out of college and migrate to Dyer in hopes of a better living. I never thought all of my misfortunes would lead me to a lucky future. Many of Dyer's commoner class saw me as a story of wonder and love. It is unheard of for a Dyer royal to marry a foreigner. It was almost taboo. Regardless, people will say that what they want. I was happy and Ray loved me even more than I loved myself sometimes. Tina turned to give me a tight, careful hug, not wanting to mess up all of her and her staff's hard work. Congratulations, Lady Alistine. I lightly squeezed her hands. Thank you. I slowly walked to the boudoir's large glass window as she shut the door. I looked around the room. I watched the little specks of light dance on the lilac velvet furniture. The air in the room felt heavier. A normal chill ran down my spine. Then I noticed a familiar white feather caught in the cushioned pillow. I relaxed, peering over my shoulder. You know, Archangel, it is rude to enter someone's room without knocking. I turned my head to the left. There stood Acolyte of Life, Nikolai, with his fist raised to the wall as if he were going to knock. He did so anyway and gave me a bright grin. Well, you noticed me before I could, Lady Alistine. I didn't think you would sense me so quickly. The death and life acolyte could make themselves unseeable to a regular person if they wanted to. As a 6th seer or clairvoyant, I had higher astral and celestial energy and a second presence allowing me to see to hear, see, and touch things most others could not. It was a trait common in humans like me more than any other race, yet due to the severe and dangerous prejudices of others, I only told those I trusted about my abilities or those who Mira had blessed in the past. What brings you to Dyer? I asked Nikolai. He usually visited me when I was pregnant, whether I had known beforehand or not. I was sure this was not one of those cases. At least I hoped it was not. He sighed, relaxing the ivory wings on his back. Well, for one, I was to congratulate you on the wedding. Many, or should I say, more blessings for your future household. I frowned. I think I have enough blessings running around my house already. He laughed. Yes, I suppose so. So you took time out of your day to come and congratulate me? I asked. He huffed again. Well, yes, for the most part. The other reason being, well, work and tracking. Mer. My eyes widened briefly. Mer was the being of miracles. They were the highest spirit of the divine agency. Mer was the surprising and welcoming of being of miracles and was inexplicable. No one, not even the god of life, knew when Mer would give out a blessing. You would soon be blessed with a miracle when you saw him riding his horse. So, who do you think Mer is going to bless? Nick shrugged. All I know is it's someone in this castle. There was a knock on the door. I turned to the door and then back to Nick. I'll keep an eye out for you. Thank you, and sorry for the bad timing. Enjoy your wedding. There was another knock. I rolled my eyes. Come in. Till next time, Nick, I whispered. The door opened slowly, and in stepped my husband, Ray. He looked just as breathtaking as I did. He wore matching floral and dark blue decorative satin robes on top. His hair was braided into a spiral bun underneath his cocoa chinique too. He smiled brightly. Wow, you look, Linda. I bowed my head. Thank you, dear. Ray walked over to me. He guided his hand to meet my face. My brown eyes met his stunning blue ones. You're like a dazzling emerald. That is what he called me. I was his beautiful gem, and he was my shining star. And speaking of emeralds, Ray dug into his pocket and pulled out a ring box. He opened it, and small diamonds on both surrounded a giant kite emerald. The other ring band was covered in diamonds too. In Dyer, ring exchanges between the bride and groom are a private affair, and diamonds are only available to royalty. Ray slowly slid the ring onto my finger. He kissed it and whispered. I smiled. I pulled my ring box out of my hidden gown pocket. Ray's ring was a gold band with decorative engravings and glittering diamonds. I took his hand, slid the ring on, and kissed it. You hold my heart in your hands too. He smiled as he lifted my head. Ready to get married? He asked. I returned his grin. Of course, my love.